Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Last night, Monday Night Football, the game in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And as the Packers are on their way to picking up the ritualistic win by the numbers, they reveal that a longtime Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer had died earlier that day. And we've seen this so often on Monday Night Football, the coincidental death of a great player who played for a team the day their game's on primetime or that team's on primetime. And in the moment, I said to Sweet Lady, I said, I guarantee you that guy died by the numbers, even though he's an old man. And she always says, well, you never know. So I had to look it up, and I said, look at that. I said, look at that, love. I said, it's the 103rd NFL season. This man's dead on the 103rd day of the 103rd season, and his name equals 103 in Gematria. And again, if you're new here, look up the song Gematria, the killing name. Look up the song Murder by Numbers, where killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Again, from understanding this knowledge, you can see the outcome of the game before it happens, and you can see the other ritualism, such as the killing of other people. And this 103 death thing is nothing new with the Packers. Years ago, when the Packers had the opener in a year, which really didn't make sense because the recent NFL trend is for the defending Super Bowl champion to open the season. But the other year, even though the Packers didn't win the Super Bowl, they opened the season against the Bears, Chicago, the birthplace of the NFL. Bart Starr, the former quarterback of the Packers, Hall of Famer who won the first ever Super Bowl, he had died that offseason. He died exactly 103 days from the season opener, and the Packers went on to win that game over the Bears 10-3. And in both games this year in the 103rd NFL season, the Packers have had 103 rituals against the Bears. But last night we liked the Packers a lot to win the game. Aaron Rodgers got his 93rd all-time home win as a starter. Again, I told you about the significance of 93 in this time of Saturnalia. That's the Saturn number. Saturn's connected to the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper's scythe comes from Saturn. Of course, in history, Vince Lombardi died unexpectedly on 9/3, which we'll talk more about, at Jesuit Georgetown, because like I continue to tell you, it's the Jesuits who are behind all of these demented rituals. The Jesuits are the killing death cult. So Gary Knafelc, dead at age 90. Again, no one's going to question the death of a 90-year-old, even if he is a former Packer and he dies on the day of a big primetime Monday Night Football game. But I want you to see just how ritualistic this was. Again, so much to it, you guys. The day leaving 12 days left in the year, Aaron Rodgers, number 12, gets his 12th win on Monday Night Football, winning 24-12, a difference of 12 as he holds the Rams to 12 points. The Rams last night on the 19th of December fell to 19-19 away all-time on Monday Night Football. 19-19 on the road, all-time on the 19th. And guess what Lambeau equals in Gematria? 19. Again, this league is scripted. So Gary Knafelc, most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. Gary Knafelc, 103. This season began on September 8th. Remember, the Queen died as the Queen City one. And don't forget, I was in Buffalo right after the top shooting, showing how that shooting was synced up with the NFL season and why the Buffalo Bills would defeat the Rams in the opener, how it was all connected. They said 10 dead, 3 injured. That store was open on O.J. Simpson's birthday, the longtime Buffalo Bill star who had his infamous verdict on the date 10-3. And sure enough, as we predicted, the Bills would be 10-3 this year. They sure were. They became 10-3 this year. We've been talking about this 103 thing nonstop through this 103rd NFL season, but now here's the most blatant thing yet. On the 103rd day of the 103rd season, Gary Knafelc's dead. And the Packers are playing, whose star quarterback is Rodgers, whose name does have that gematria of 103. Rodgers equals 103 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. Z is 1 back to A is 26. He's the big State Farm actor star between the commercial breaks, reminding you that these guys are actors. And you know what? I just want to do my own acting performance for just a moment, because a lot of you guys left comments like, how could sports be scripted when these guys are celebrating the victory and, going off looking sad when they lose. So, again, I just want to, for a moment, pretend that I was a member of the Argentina World Cup team, who, again, we just nailed another future. We had Argentina-France as the championship match in the big Jesuit ritual. But a lot of you guys are saying, look at how excited they look to win. Now, I just want you to imagine that I'm in an Argentina blue and white stripe, and the camera's out a little bit, and you can see me as a player on the field. Is this about how it looks when they win? Yes! Fuck yeah! Woo! 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 Is that it? If I did that, would you be like, oh, that's totally real? How about if I walk off the field like Ronaldo? Oh my God. Should I get to the tunnel? Isn't that exactly how it looks? You guys are like, how could that be? These guys are paid $100 million fucking dollars. You don't think they can do a little bit of acting? God, it's just like, are you guys that easily deceived? Are you that easily deceived? This is why it's so annoying. Did you see how excited and happy they looked? Yeah, because they're going back home to their $10 million house, driving home in their $1 million car to their trophy wife, probably a few more endorsement deals on the wheel. Oh, here's another $42,000 too, so you can put on some new Pirelli Super Sport tires for your $1 million car. You guys are just like so easily deceived. How come they look so excited? Why are they paid like actors? Why is acting the highest paid job in this world? Have you guys ever considered that? Why is acting the highest paid job? Why are teachers paid so little in the United States of America? In some countries, they actually pay teachers decent, but not in the United States of America, a society of people that are just always watching TV and don't really care about anything, not even their own life, as they get fatter and fatter watching the sports game every week that just has to be so real because the players go, woo, we won the Super Bowl! It has to be real. Look how happy he is. You think they're all really going to Disneyland? Not to mention Disney owns the NFL, owns all these sports leagues that broadcast the games. I'm going to Disneyland. It's just a joke. Not to mention Walt Disney was part of this big Jesuit fraternity. Remember De Molay? De Molay's Catholic like the Jesuits. De Molay's the Templar. The Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. But again, you guys, it's just annoying. I'm showing just how redundant these patterns are year after year. People are watching the video, and then all they have left to say is, but didn't you see how happy they were that they won last night? I don't think it's rigged. It's like, Jesus. Did you notice that Aaron Rodgers was acting in every commercial break for State Farm? Did that dawn on you at any point in the game? Oh, he's an actor. He looked mad when he threw that interception, the way he snapped off his chin strap. Fuck! Didn't you see how he said fuck and did his chin strap? Oh, wow, that was hard. Man, can I sign up for the $30 million a year and throw the purposeful interception? Do you see these fucking passes? It's just like, and then you got, your commentator to give you the bullshit narrative for why it happened. It's like, no, man. I can go play a pickup football game with guys I've never played with before and not be that out of timing with my receiver who I just met in the park, These guys are getting paid millions of dollars and they're on that much of a different page? No way. No way. Been talking about Rodgers in 103 a gazillion times. Here, what else is going on in this ritual besides him being dead on the 103rd day of the 103rd NFL season and, synced up with the most Jesuit team there is in the whole league? Well, he's dead 46 years after becoming a Hall of Famer. What do we know about 46? Again, the Jesuits are a religious order. They use the Bible like it's their playbook, like they're a coach. 46 years later, in Gematria, Lambeau Field equals 46. Sacrifice equals 46. Catholic equals 46, like the 46 books in the Old Testament that begins with Genesis, where Genesis 46 is about a sacrifice. And Chicago also equals 46, just in light of that being the birthplace of the NFL. And remember, they won their only Super Bowl. Isn't it funny that the city of Chicago, where NFL is born, they can only win one Super Bowl? And they won it 46-10 with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. And they won it in 85, like National Football League's 85, like Bart Starr did at 85, like how I told you John Madden would die at 85. And did John Madden even really die at 85? I mean, we didn't hear from John Madden for years before they reported his death by the numbers. About a year ago now. This guy also joined the Packers in 54. Of course, Jesuit order equals 54. Hold on. Kayla Decode Talker has a text for me. Kayla, if you want to call me to share something, Kayla, oh, it was Rogers' 103rd INT last night. Hey, Kayla had a really great decode on the game. Kayla, if you want to call in and share your information, always happy to promote Kayla Decode Talker, one of the best in the business. It feels like Kayla's been here forever, but she hasn't even been here that long. I was blown away when she told me how long she'd been. I was like, you've only been here for that long? I felt like you've been here forever. But anyway, in Gematria, by the way, Kayla used to be a huge Packers fan. And Kayla's, if Kayla wants to call in, I'll tell her story for her a little bit. But she says she's relieved that she's not an NFL fan anymore because she used to be so frustrated when the Packers would lose. It would ruin her day and week like it does for so many sports fans when their team loses. That's the thing, man. In America, people are living vicariously, which means they're not living through themselves. They're living through other people, like celebrities and stars. Living the American dream, dreaming that could be them. Maybe somehow I'll become the next superstar, especially the youngsters in this country. See, that's the sick thing. What these leagues really get are the minds of the young people who want to grow up and be the next Aaron Rodgers, the next superstar, and they don't realize what it comes. It's like their mom and dad need to sit them down and say, listen, we're going to listen to Cypress Hill, rock superstar, and we're going to really break down the lyrics today. Then we're going to listen to Gematria Killing Name, and then we're going to listen to Murder by Numbers. We're going to really break it down today, little Johnny. All right, so anyway, he joined the Packers in 54, Jesuit Order 54. For the record, Green Bay, Wisconsin's 84, like the Jesuit Order's 84, like the Catholic Church's 84, like Jesuits 84. This guy who's dead, he wore number 84 with the Packers for a while. He also wore the number 44 with the Packers for a while. Wisconsin and Packers both have Gematria 44, a number connected to killing. And the divisors of 44 add up to 84. So there's a relationship with 44 and 84. Kind of like how the 44th President Obama, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act, he ran on hope, which equals 44 forwards, 64 in reverse, like the year of the Civil Rights Act. Again, his birthday is 8-4 Obama, whose real name is Obummer. Oh, bummer. Anyway, if you run it in reverse, Green Bay, Wisconsin's 87, Claremont, Florida's 87, Monday Night Football's 87. They announced his death in Claremont, Florida, while the game's going on in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And like I just said, Rodgers got his 93rd all-time home win, which is true, the big Saturn number on Saturnalia, where Saturn's connected to the Grim Reaper, his scythe. Again, the reason the Grim Reaper is connected to Saturn's connected to death and judgment, and Saturn's astrological symbol has the scythe, like the Grim Reaper carries the scythe. But Rodgers also last night got his 87th regular season win at home. 93rd, including the postseason, 87th in the regular season as a starter. And you could also say that Rodgers got his 97th home win as a starter if you count his days backing up Brett Favre. But I'm talking about, so starts is 93, including the playoffs, 87 in the regular season. But if you also include when he backed up Brett Favre, it was his 97th. The word death is 97. So all of these numbers fit into the ritual so well. Kind of like how they buried Lombardi on 9/7 after he died on 9/3. After he died at Jesuit Georgetown, which we'll talk more about. He died at age 57, like Georgetown's 57, died unexpectedly. Guaranteed he was murdered. Guaranteed, one of many Jesuit murder rituals. You know how in your school book that the Jesuits gave you to make it seem like certain things were just part of the distant past, because that's the way they want you to think. They want you to have this whole false reality of the world. The Jesuits, they are like the modern day Mayans, sacrificing people for the big sports game. Doing it every day, pretty much. Anyhow, I mean, we just told you about Diego Maradona, whose name equals 107, and then Argentina's in the World Cup 107 weeks later in the championship. Exactly 107 weeks later, he dies in Tigre in the year of the tiger, is the World Cup. Tigre means tiger. But also the Catholic Church is 84 forwards, 87 in reverse, just like Green Bay, Wisconsin. And for all you Green Bay people out there who think you're a part owner of the team, isn't it just laughable how they just keep people believing bullshit? You're no part owner of the team. That's just another fiction they created for you guys to have some false reality. None of you guys have anything to do with the team. All you're doing is giving money to their cause and having some false idea that you're dictating the outcome of the Packers, which you have zero dictation over. All the Packers games are as scripted as the other 31 teams in the NFL are, and the scripts are written by the Jesuits who run the show. Has nothing to do with you and your false illusion of being a part owner of the Packers. Keep in mind, number of the beast equals 87. I've taught you about a gazillion 87 rituals with number of the beast. Brady has a bunch under his belt. And again, Rodgers gets his 87th regular season home win as they're announcing the death of the Packer Hall of Famer who wore 84 with the team, but also 44. And he was the 14th pick of the second round. He's dead 14 days before his birthday. Again, here's Aaron Rodgers wins as a starter, 93. Again, I made a bunch of videos for you guys this weekend about 93 in rig sports. A bunch of people piled up a bunch of cash by taking advantage of it because all across all the sports leagues, they were paying tribute to 93, the Saturn number during the time of Saturnalia, which goes December 17th through the 23rd. And what culture is Saturnalia important to? The Romans. Who do the Jesuits serve? The Roman Catholic Church. Why is the first Jesuit Pope's birthday on the day that Saturnalia begins? Isn't it obvious? Like I showed you. He's the first to live in Suite 201, like they kept Messia, Argentina in Suite 201. If you write out Saturn worship, it equals 201. Here, let me just pull up the Gematria calculator real quick so we can get this right. So you can see this. Okay, Gematria, alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. Founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, 201. First Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, whose birth name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. He's the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which is the Domus Sanctae Martae, which is 201. Just like how they kept Messi separate from the team in Suite 201 for the World Cup. And if you write out the Jesuit order, it's 201. Aaron Rodgers' full name is Aaron Charles Rodgers, 201. Also 93. See, he gets the big symbolic win, and then they whack Mr. 84. And let me go back to the Jesuit order. Did you catch how it has the 84 in it as well? Just like Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oops, spelled it wrong. Wisconsin. Oh, shit. All right, my bad, you guys. Hold on. What am I doing wrong here? I am tripping. All right, my bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh. Lambeau Field has the 46. Hold on. Am I doing... Hold on. I might be mistaken about Green Bay, Wisconsin. It has the 85 like National Football League. Like Bart started at 85. I might be wrong about the 84 with Green Bay, Wisconsin. Apologies for that, but it is a big number with the Jesuits, the Jesuit order, the Catholic Church, Jesuit alone, United States of America. I think I'm slipping on something, though, that is 84 with the field and the location. Okay, but coming back to the 93-201 Saturn thing, if you write out Saturn worship, it's also 201. Again, you got the first Jesuit Pope, Mr. 201, the first to live in Suite 201, born on the same day as Saturnalia. If you write out sacrifice to Saturn, it's 201. Last year, remember, the lineman for the Colts, Ryan Kelly, he lost his son on Saturnalia 201 days after his own birthday, and he was born in 93. And if you write out Saturnian order, it's also got the 201-93. Notice the 177-69-201. Look at the Jesuit order. 177-69-201. And again, that 93 like Saturn. And Triclavianism, those are the three nails in the Jesuits logo. It has to do with capital punishment. You see the 201 and 93. The Jesuits logo is the sun, which they also say is 93 million miles away. If you write out capital punishment, it's also 201. Funny thing last night, after the game was over, sweet lady puts on the show that she likes to watch on Netflix, I Am a Killer. And every time I don't really like watching that show because I feel like it's just propaganda to stereotype black men. But she put it on last night, and right in the opening, before they go to the character they're focused on, they show his prison cell number, and they just zoom in on his prison cell number, and it's 201, and it's a story about these guys being on death row. And I said to her, look at that. I said, and then I was laughing even more because right after they zoom in on 201, then they go to talking to him through the glass, and behind him is the number 38, and then on the front it shows it in reverse, so it looks like 83. So it looks like there's an 83 on the glass in front and 38 behind him, and he's supposed to be a murderer who's on death row. I'm just like, look at this shit. Look at how is this Netflix special even real, or are these actors? So often, you guys, when they have a big news story about somebody being executed on death row, you'll find the exact same numbers encoded in the story over and over. And I do know that people go to death row and get executed. Is it like they only select the certain stories to make the national news story when it has the numbers, or like what's going on here? Is this another form of propaganda to also keep people from being murderers? I mean, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I can tell you they're putting the numbers on it all day, every day, just like how the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. Okay. So anyway. Aaron Rodgers, 93rd home win, Saturn number associated with death, judgment is Saturn, the Grim Reaper. You know, it's all there. What day did Vince Lombardi die unexpectedly in history? 9/3. What age did he die at? Age 57. Out of the 4 ciphers, the most pure one is the dark blue cipher. Georgetown's 57 in that cipher. Dead at 57 at Georgetown. Dead on 9/3. The 129 matters as well because 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. The 42 matters because in that same cipher, Jesuits 42. You see how Jesuits 21 and 42 in the same cipher? So is Saturn. Again, they're a Saturnian order. And by the way, you guys, if you didn't know this, the Illuminati, you see how Illuminati's got the 69 in it? The Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Illuminati's also got the 150. Heliocentrism, the model agreed to in the 16th century, the same century the Jesuits are credited, is also 150. They say the sun is 150 million kilometers away on average, 93 million miles away on average, but it's also got the 201 in it. And again, look at order of Illuminati. It's got the 201 and the 93. And Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit who created it, died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. Okay. So, and they had to report that he died at 7:20 a.m. Jesuit Order 72. The Jesuits' logo is the sun. The sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. They also say 71 days after his initial examination. He wasn't supposed to die, but he did. 71 days? That's 71 days after, right? Catholic 71. 71 days after also means a span of 72 days, going with his 7/20 death. We just talked about this with the Warriors upsetting the Raptors, becoming 3-14 away when their star players born on 3/14 Pi Day, where I've been teaching you guys about Steph Curry and Pi rituals with his team the whole time I've been here, and a lot of times it's been big payments for understanding those things, just like it was the other night. But on the same day that happened was a date with 72 numerology, the Toronto Golden State game, and they said there was a mass shooting in Toronto at 7:20 p.m. See what I mean? Toronto 72. Big Catholic city. Jesuit Order 72. Right now, Catholic has Trudeau, the Jesuit leader, who's been doing all his rituals by the numbers with the pandemic and lockdowns. You know, don't forget what day we predicted, dead on, what day would be the crackdown on the truckers, which came in the capital city days before it even happened, because we understand the Jesuit code. You know, just like I pretty much called everything dead on about the pandemic, from when they'd start the lockdowns to when the whole thing, when they'd wind down all the mandates, called it all from the start of the pandemic. Put out a book about it for all you guys who doubt it. Go back and read it. Came out in September 2020. Nailed everything about it. Why they'd wind down the mandates when the year of the tiger came around. All dead on. Told you it was a huge Jesuit agenda that started with Event 201. But yeah, you don't got to wonder why Vince Lombardi died on 9/3 right before the start of that season. You know, at age 57 at Georgetown, when you know Gematria. Again, there's a song, Gematria, the killing name. So, and then they had his funeral at St. Patrick's Catholic Place on 9/7, and Roman Catholicism also has that 97 in it. You see how Roman Catholicism is, check this out. See Antonin Scalia? Whoops, let me get his name right. Antonin Scalia. You see the 132, 219? Look at Roman Catholic, 132, 219. Antonin Scalia died by the numbers, the first Roman Catholic Supreme Court justice, and then they had his casket open at the Supreme Court on what day? On February 19th. 219. And with regards to 132, you might know that number. That's how many rooms are in the White House. 132. 132 rooms in the White House. United States of America equals 132. The United States of America was named that on September 9th, 1776, a span of 132 days from the establishment of the Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Jesuits, Roman Catholic order. All roads lead to Rome. Rome controlled their people with clever tactics, entertainment, good food, alcohol. Think about the sports game. You got your big beer, you got your nachos, your popcorn, your candy, your hot dogs, your hamburgers, watching the game. This is the new Rome. Let me see if I remember how to spell it right. Shout out to DK Stonewood. Yeah, look this up. Londinium. It was the Roman Catholic fortress in England. You see how England's also 132? You think we ever really got free from London on 7/4? London 74, free 74, holiday 74, Roman 74. Just believe in Jesus 74, who died on the cross 74, the Messiah 74, the stories, the gospel 74, parables 74, Jewish 74, Jesus from Judea, the Roman creation. Just believe in Jesus, watch your football games on Sunday, pay your taxes, give Caesar what's his, celebrate Independence Day on 7/4 because you're so free. You're so freedom. So freedom. I don't know, man. I mean, the numbers are lining up, but the celebrations look pretty real to me. Derp, derp, derp. Looked like he was pretty mad to me when he snapped off his chin strap, started pointing his finger. Look real to me. I'd say who wants to come on and debate, but we already know the answer. We already know the answer. Nobody wants to debate. Here, just in case I'm wrong, you never know. You should never give up. Maybe somebody wants to come on and bring a debate. Who thought it looked pretty real last night? Who thought the game looked pretty real? All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come debate. Or, hey, if you want to come on last night and tell me about how much you won off the picks, come on and tell that too. Maybe that would also wake up a few people. Another night of smashing the picks. Hornets 10-point dog. Great riddle. Smashing. Packers to cover the spread where the value was. Smashing. Spurs is an underdog. Better riddle than the Rockets. Winning. Again, all weekend I taught you guys about the same number pattern with Saturn. And it's not just all weekend. I mean, I've been teaching the same pattern for going on a decade. Just keeps happening over and over and over and over again. Next year, I'll be here talking about the same thing with the Rig Sports on Saturnalia. I'll be talking about 93. Continue to follow the pattern. It doesn't end until December 23rd. I haven't looked at Thursday Night Football. I'm hoping there's a 93 on the board for Thursday Night Football. But yeah, again, I mean, for all the trolls who are ready to just spam after the fact, Zach, just your same false taglines. The guy was spamming away this morning. Zach went 5-9 yesterday, just totally false, but spamming it everywhere, hoping people believe it's true. Zach went 5-9 yesterday. It's just like, I went 5-9 yesterday. Definitely not true. Another smashing day. I don't know. I guess you can just spam. I went 5-9 everywhere. Why don't you come all in, Mister? I went 5-9, and tell me where I went 5-9. Here, I'll give you the floor. Tell me how I went 5-9. I'd love to hear it. You're not going to hear from these people. They're just going to continue to work the comment section, spam false lies all day, try and dissuade people from the truth, and stay in the troll den. And then talk about how I'm a lying fraud when I'm not. I'm giving people the dopest information there ever was, day after day, being shadow banned, being censored, being deleted, being ignored. It's like, does anybody else need to be working against me? Big tech's pretty much already destroyed me with all the deletions and censorship and shadow banning. All right, here comes D-True. What's up, D-True?
Yo, Zach, this is pretty epic, man. I've been a huge fan for a really long time. I actually didn't come on to debate, so I just wanted to come on and finally talk to you a little bit, show you some support, and mention a couple things, because things have been really crazy lately with the I've been following since like the whiteboard days, man.
Hey, just as you do that, let me check something real quick, because I think it just came into my mind where I was off the money. My bad, you guys. When I was telling you Green Bay had an 84 connection, it's their damn name. Green Bay Packers is 84, and then it's also got that 150-69 like Illuminati. And anyway, it was bothering me that I could not think what the 84 was with the Packers. Okay, it's back. Go ahead, D-True. Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, man. Yeah, just longtime fan. Been watching you since like way back, man. And from what I've seen, dude, everything you've been doing like is the real deal, and it lines up. The amount of work that you've had deleted is like, I think it's like criminal in terms of what they've done with you basically had evidence.
1984. It's literally 1984 down the memory hole. It's just like, I get the joke now, seeing how the Jesuits run all these big tech platforms, and that's probably, you could argue that 84 is their biggest number. But yeah, it is criminal. I'm so glad you said that. It's very frustrating. And then also, it's what else is just provoking about it is you get these emails that said we deleted you for hate speech, and then you go look at it and you're like, oh my God, I documented that it was a 74-page hate manifesto, and the word in hate in Gematria equals 74. It's like a sick joke. They're deleting what I'm exposing. And again, for people don't know what I'm talking about, just this past weekend, they deleted one of my posts on the Christchurch, New Zealand mass shooting of the 74th day of the year, March 15, 2019, on the Ides of March, Roman killing day. Killing equals 74, like stabbing, like a cult, like energy, like hate. And one of the details was that he had a 74-page manifesto. They deleted my post on that's been up all these years, and said that I was the hate speaker for documenting it. And don't forget, you just had a shooting this year on Israel's 74th birthday at the Tops, which they said that the shooter used the same manifesto as the Christchurch, New Zealand shooter. 74 again. And again, I get taken down for hate speech for documenting that. It's mockery. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, D-True. Go ahead, please. But thank you.
Yeah, no, man, you bring up a great point with all that. And like I've been watching from the sideline for like a really long time, man. So like I can vouch for so many things that like a lot of times I'll be watching and these trolls come on to talk their trash. And they're so like, dude, you called what happened to Prince, bro. Like I was there in real time when right before the Prince thing went down, you straight called the shit. You're like, dude, Prince better watch his ass. And I was even feeling it because I've kind of come into this information from the more like spiritual side, like just the synchronicities in my life. I started seeing the code before I found your work. Your work made me realize like finally what I was seeing. So for that, I'm like super grateful, dude. And that's just how powerful like what you've tapped into is. So there's just so many times, dude, you've called things besides the sports. And then, like you said, when they delete this stuff, it just makes it look like, oh, well, what are you really doing? And it's like the amount of spot on information you've cataloged that's been erased and shit, man.
A lot. I mean, for people who don't know, again, all of my work up to June 28, 2017, which was about 5,000 YouTube videos at the time, and videos between, like 5 minutes and several hours. I mean, so much hard work just deleted. And when they deleted that, there was so much proof and relevance of the work. And for all you guys who come here and say, well, why don't you put out more stuff for free beforehand? You know what? There used to be a huge archive that you could go back to and watch and see all the things we nailed beforehand. And again, I don't really, for all of you guys who weren't here then, I kind of feel bad for you. I still put out stuff for free beforehand, and you guys should be able to see from that. Plus, I'm inviting you to join what's behind the paywall for a measly price of $5 per month. That's not a big entry fee. Again, my number one competitor charges $5,000 and makes you sign an NDA. And you'll see so often his trolls, the same people trolling me, will name drop him. I'm pretty sure that almost all my trolls are connected to that network, because there was a person in the world who was actually here before me who knew about this before me, but he didn't put it out in the public. His name is Gary the Numbers Guy. He charges the same, he teaches the same thing, but he sucks at it, you guys. He used to call into my TFR show and challenge me, and he'd get embarrassed every week because he'd be wrong and I'd be right. But that's the thing. He's charging you $5,000 and making you sign an NDA to do what I did for free for 5 years. So you can guarantee I put a major hole in his pocket from what he was getting away with. And honestly, I think that was right. I mean, why should you be hoarding this knowledge that really has the power to save the world, making people sign an NDA and charging them $5,000 for it? To me, that's not right. But at the same time, I see that the value, I mean, to go get an education in this world and learn powerful information that can put you ahead financially, people will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education like that. So in a way, I can kind of see where he's coming from, but that's never been my thing. My thing, I have never been chasing money in this world. Well, in recent times, I have been asking for more resources because I realize it's going to take resources to do things, but I'm not somebody who's been about money. I'm someone who had a good job out of college, and I quit that to work for minimum wage in a group home. That's who I am. I'm someone who gave up a good career to go make $40,000 a year teaching in an inner city school. It's never been about money. It's been about helping people. For me, for my adult life, I've proven that with what I've done in my adult life. And the reason I only charge now $5 a month, which is right next to free, is because I still have the same mentality behind it. It's going to take resources for us to get places. But anyway, let me shut up and go back to D True. What's up, D True? Sorry, man.
Yeah, no, man, I totally agree with you. And that's why I'm still here as a longtime fan, dude, because it's not just your work, but it's the person you are behind it. Like, I've seen the shit you've gone through, the shit you've put up with, how much you keep putting out there, and how much of your own resources. And that goes into like I kind of only pick the best of the best to pay attention to as far. And like when it comes to the Gematria, I mean, I watch everyone's video who puts them out, but like I think you're still like the guy, and you're just also, you seem like a rad person, man. Like I've been trying to get get on with you for years, but it's just never quite happened. But yeah, man. And just a couple of things I kind of wanted to mention is dude, when you like lay into the more trolls and just how dumb people can be, trust, like I totally like laugh my ass off and relate, and like I don't necessarily look at it as like, oh, Zach's like, that's how he's losing everybody. But all I can say is, man, like you mentioned how great you are with the kids and stuff, and I don't doubt that. And I kind of noticed, like, dude, these people, regardless of their age, they are still traumatized children on the inside, and so when you come hard like you do, it's you know what I mean? It's just gonna sometimes, like, people that maybe have that little bit of like that where they could figure it out, they're that coming hard, they're just gonna go into like a defensive mode. And I was just maybe gonna say, try to see everyone's like inner traumatized child when you're dealing with some of these pricks, basically,
Yeah, I know, and that's why I say, I mean, I have a lot of flaws, and I think probably ultimately from even responding to trolls, it's probably just done more harm for the message and the work than good. But there's another part of me where I got to get it out, man, because people don't understand. Like, you guys, I'm not joking when I say if this is the Wild West, I would shoot these people. That's not a joke. I don't live in the Wild West and I can control myself, but the closest thing I can do to shooting them is just vent about it, because that's how I feel. So
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
only
dude. I mean, Chaz, in a realm where some people are afraid to say what they feel, and it's like, you can't even really speak your mind. Like, dude, your rants are like epic, bro. Like, I love them. I mean, I guess I'm still here, but it just gives lesser people fuel or an excuse to just be like, oh, I'm gonna stay as someone with my head up my ass, or I'm just gonna point out like, oh, look, he's just being a dick, and then therefore all the knowledge that has proven itself becomes null and void, which is obviously bullshit. But that's just the game that they play, It's like the be nice or else everything you're saying is a lie, which is bullshit, but that's just
Yeah,
how they
I
roll,
think you're 1,000,000% correct. And part of the reason, even though I know your advice is right, I'm probably still not going to take it, is because I also am trying to break people's programming. And people are
Yeah,
just
that's
so
really
used to that fake, just like you watch on TV, just these people that are dressed in the suits, totally fake personalities. It's amazing to me that more people don't get disgusted. Like, you'll be watching CNN and the news anchor will be like, back in a minute with the deaths of 300 people in Africa. It's just like, what the fuck, man? That's like, do you see how demonic that is? But people don't
Oh
mind
yeah.
that. They're like, well, she had a nice, pretty smile on her face, and look how nice her outfit is. It's like, dude, she's excited to come back to the deaths of 300. Right after this commercial break from Pfizer, you guys, we're going to be back with 300 people dead in Africa. I mean, it's just, people are just used to like, well, I'll watch that. Her voice sounds nice as she says that. I mean, it's just.
Oh, dude,
So,
I agree 1,000% with that. Like, that stuff drives me insane. Like, what lures such people in? I find it immediately like this is toxic. This is like, this is where they're trying to invade my energy, my space, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I I can respond very similar to you a lot, dude. So that's what I'm saying. It's not like I'm Mr. Nice Guy all the time, or like butterflies and rainbows and shit. But just in terms of like, and like when you're saying sometimes the knowledge hasn't gone as far as it could, I think that's just because sometimes the delivery is a little bit intense for certain people. But hey, dude, I'm not, I keep being
no,
you, dude, and
that's a
keep
million
doing what you
percent
do. You
true.
know what I mean?
That's 1,000,000% true. If we had some smoking hot, bikini model up here just delivering it with the prettiest voice ever, the channel probably would have never been deleted, and it would have a gazillion views. So we are looking for that in the truth community if you're out there. So.
But dude, I appreciate too how you prop up anyone else that's getting into the work and doing a good job. The other channels, like I see all that too. So, you're definitely the kind of dude I would, want to have as a homie or a friend in the 3D. Hopefully, at one point, during one of these tours or meetups. That's the kind of
So what
thing.
part of the country? What part of the country do I have to come through where you could come out?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh, I was supposed to go there. Now I'm feeling bad. Okay.
Yeah, now,
Well, it's gonna
but
happen.
I just spent the last 2 years in Northern California, so I saw how that whole scene was. And honestly, man, the West is like, dude, it's something else, man. That's like, I really want to get back to the Northwest, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, I used to think the West Coast was a lot better, man, but it's everything still has its good pockets. So.
Yeah, I mean, the East Coast holds it down, but dude, there's just so many people, and even since the thing that went down, like Philly's not the same place it used to be, man. There was definitely some really powerful grassroots stuff going on in the art and music community, and the bug just annihilated all that. I've been calling it the boogie bug, and dude, I was screaming about it before it even gained traction. Like in January, I was like being like, yo, this is how it's going to be. This is how the whole thing's going to go down. And then when people like you had your workout, it was just that much more validation, man.
Well, I appreciate it a lot, D True, man. Thanks for coming on. And you also brought up something that reminded me, I've been meaning to do another stream about the more spiritual side of this. I think after I'm done with this stream, I'm going to fire up another stream to talk about what I think is the most mind-blowing synchronicity that's happened in my life recently, and just to remind that there is something more to this than just how they rigged the system by it. But appreciate it a lot, D True. Thank you.
Awesome, man. It's been an honor to be on with you, man, and keep doing everything you do, bro.
All right. Have a great one. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. All right, D True. All right, we got Maximilian. Maximilian, what's up?
What's up? I'm not gonna speak over you this time. I'm sorry for the last time. I was just so very anxious to get it out. Yeah, I just started boiling water.
Hold on.
So basically, back. What I quickly just wanted to ask you last time was, regarding any like quick pattern recognition on some specific numbers relating to the tsunami script. I think this will resonate with some people out there. The landslide tsunami script. You must have heard about it too. I was talking about last time both the Pacific and an Atlantic scenario. Both would
here. Before you get into something that's going to be too deep for people, I just want to remind people about this recent event in Southern California. We were talking about how important 74 is, you guys. Energy is 74, right? Weapon is 74. Nuclear 74. Holiday 74. Independence Day is 74. Again, remember the Southern California got rocked on 7/4 with a massive earthquake. And then after it happened, they said that the epicenter was on the military base. Here, I want you guys to see this. The military base that was China Lake. So China Lake, and this was shortly before the coronavirus pandemic that began in China. I want you to see, again, since we were talking about 201 already in this thing, and the Jesuits, who are a military order, who are very technologically advanced. From July 4th, 2019 to the first case of coronavirus being confirmed in the U.S., which was January 21st, 2020, was 201 days later, right? It came from China. Understand, this stuff's not a coincidence, you guys. It's just like how Kobe dies in L.A., and from his last birthday to the day they declared the pandemic, March 11th, was 201 days later, and they bury him in Corona del Mar. There is military technology like HARP, which is known to have the ability to quake the ground. You have Jesse Ventura, who said things like they've planted explosives in the ground all over the world that can trigger earthquakes. If you can trigger an earthquake, that means you can trigger a tsunami. If you haven't read my first book, Letters and Numbers, I talk about the 1989 World Series earthquake, Giants and Oakland, and how. So understand, what we call natural disasters can be created through military rituals. And not to mention, the first act of weather warfare was admitted to on August 15th, 1952. August 15th is the Jesuit order's birthday. So anyway, this guy's going off the topic, but just if you can keep it real quick, Maximilian, since you're off topic, but you're saying here, you guys, I'll tell you one more thing about next year. I'm worried about some big natural disasters in 2023, and I'll tell you why. Natural disaster equals 223. HARP, which is one of these military technologies that can cause natural disasters, was patented on the 223rd day of the year. And what HARP stands for in Gematria equals 223. So again, what HARP stands for, HAARP, equals 223. Natural disaster equals 223. And it was patented on the 223rd day of the year. Next year, 2023, looks a lot like that 223. And you know what would be a good way to depopulate some terrible natural disasters that can be blamed on God? Anyway, okay, Maximilian, hit me with the quick one, and then
I'll keep it short and clear and concise here. So it's about a landslide. So remember, 2004 was an earthquake at the seafloor. Some 1,000 kilometers off this Indonesian island, remember? And they still say, or they said at the time, that it was one of the biggest earthquakes ever recorded. And they said the same thing about the 2011 tsunami, and they were man-made, both of them. I mean, how can we keep some of these things in mind that we do, and not and I'm not at all, like you said, Zach. I'm not at all. You wrote it in your book. You talked about the World Series earthquake, which is such a classic, especially in your reference. Yeah, let me just keep it short. So there's both an East Coast and the West Coast scenario for the U.S. The West Coast is a landslide from Hawaii's Big Island, not the volcano, not the bigger volcano that are currently erupting Mauna Loa, but Kilauea, which had its first eruption for half a century in 2018, which was what finally pushed me to ask myself the question if if the big cataclysmic natural disasters, they really if they are planned out to the date and all of that. And I had been onto USAC since 2016, so I mean, for me it's really super significant stance to have regarding everything. And let me just say the final few things, okay? La Palma, Canary Islands, the Canary archipelago, or whatever you call it, group of islands there off of the northwestern African coast. The westernmost island there has a very fragile volcano. That's been done geological articles about, and I have done some minor gematria digging on it. It seems to be everything seems to be day and ward article from the year 2000, I think, about the Cumbre Vieja scenario, the Canary Island, U.S. East Coast mega tsunami scenario. It would be 30-meter waves to the U.S. East Coast. It would be 7 or 8 hours after a potential landslide, which would only last 10 seconds or something, all in all. And we're talking, what are we talking? 500, a few hundred cubic kilometers of dense earth. And I mean, the Hawaiian Islands are the biggest mountains on earth if you measure from the sea floor. So, and I know you don't. I know your critics will say you're gatekeeping flat Earth and so on. I'm not saying that, but there's some very occult, super occult meaning to the Hawaiian Islands. And I remember when I had my few piss channels, new little piss channels there that they took down. But I spoke about this since 2018. Spoke about this potential, the perfect reset event for them. And people said that it would come when they come at the same time. East Coast, West Coast. They come, Canary Islands and the Hawaii's Big Island. They come at the same time. And final few things. I'm sorry I'm taking the room like this, but it's super important. But Simpsons season 14, episode 15. Mr. Burns, he appoints his canary bird as the legal owner of his plant there. And Bart asked the canary bird to spin a fake globe. La Palma, this smaller Canary Island, is depicted post a landslide, and this is very obvious, a post landslide depiction with the volcano missing. It's not, nobody's making this up. There are videos of this on YouTube that has been created, for everybody to see, and so I'm sorry for I smoke a lot of cannabis, and I'm not a native English speaker, so that's why I maybe come off like this.
That's
But
okay. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
off topic, but we are getting close to 2023, and again, I think we could see a very significant natural disaster, at least one next year, ritualistically, for the reasons I stated. And again, for people who didn't know that, again, I've been covering this for years, but the last thing shown on TV in the 1989 World Series earthquake between San Francisco and Oakland, again, two cities that are right next to each other in the Bay Area. The last thing shown on TV was number 33, Jose Canseco, the replay of him crossing home plate and pumping his fists. And then the TV cut to fuzz because of the earthquake. It was exactly 107 days after Jose Canseco's birthday, who has a name gematria of 107, like the word earthquake, like the word military. And not to mention, they said it happened at 5:04 p.m. sharp, 5:04 p.m. Again, baseball equals 54 forwards and backwards, like Jesuit order. Again, you guys, they have the technology to trigger earthquakes. They have the technology to make it flood. I've been proving this. We've been accurately forecasting weather and storms along with rigged sports games for a long time. And these people are very advanced. Again, you guys should understand we lived in a world of technology. How else are you watching me talking in a room probably thousands of miles from you right now in practically real time? The technology, we live in a very technologically advanced world. If you start to study the Jesuits, they've always been about technology. Militaries are about technology. That's how you destroy other people, by being more technologically advanced, especially in the realm of military. And what better way to destroy your enemies or achieve your strategic military purposes than doing it through acts of God where it can't even be proven that you did it? You know what I mean? So, again, you have to understand America's not a sovereign nation. Pretty much nowhere is a sovereign nation. We live in the new world order where you have world leaders that are seen as the figureheads, but they're really part of a club of billionaire tycoons that rule over and control us and exploit us and tax us and keep us distracted and entertained and instigate wars to have people kill each other needlessly and all the other crap they do. Whenever they destroy an American city, what happens? What happens when they destroy an American city with weather warfare and cause all kinds of infrastructure damage? Well, the same people that rule over the nation make a lot of money because here comes, the insurance payouts, and here comes the government contracts so that somebody gets a lot of money in their pocket to rebuild. And who's paying the tab? We are, the people. We're paying for it, but the rich ruling class is making money off of it. Whether it's weather warfare or war with another nation, there are people getting rich off of it. So anyway, thanks a lot for coming on, Maximilian, and bringing up a different topic. It is off topic, but hey, we brought it back into how it connects with sports. We've seen it with Hurricane Katrina. We've seen it with Hurricane Harvey, and then Matt Harvey being the first pitcher to pitch in Houston. And for people who weren't here, Vice News, Zachary K. Hubbard, that's me. If you type that in, you'll find this nice little hit piece. You can also see how I confronted Vice News at the site of the Buffalo shooting. But they wrote this hit piece on me for, again, this was another dead-on prediction. I said why the Astros would beat the Dodgers because Houston flooded by the numbers, L.A. burned by the numbers. It was all synced up with the World Series. Matt Harvey, the first player to pitch in Houston after the flooding of Harvey, not to mention we nailed what day Texas would flood from Harvey by understanding the numbers. It was on the anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan's album, it was on the anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan's death, whose best-selling album was Texas Flood, on the 27-year anniversary of his death, no less, on August 27th. But again, weather warfare, rig sports, it's come together many times, and it'll come together many more times as long as the Jesuit psychopaths continue to rule over the world. So anyway, appreciate it, Maximilian, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, take care. All right, we got two more people in the room. Let's get them on here. Michael and then Steve C. What's up, Michael?
How you doing, Zach? Hey, I just wanted to.
Oh man, snap! I didn't even recognize you at first. What's up?
How you doing?
Michael, man. I got to meet Michael in Buffalo. What's up, Michael?
Yeah, not too bad. How you doing?
Hey, Michael. By the way, was I a terrible, horrible human being when we met?
No. You're not one of the nicest people I've ever met. So.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you were nice to me, so But I wanted to elaborate on that Thursday night football where you said about the '93 because of Saturnalia.
You mean last night Monday Night Football?
No, I'm talking about this Thursday for the Thursday night game.
Thursday. I haven't even looked at it yet. Okay.
Yeah, the Jets and the Jaguars.
Okay.
When you put NY, NY and then Jets, it's 93. So I mean, there's I don't know if that's
NY is also 93. Okay.
So and it's in New York. So I mean, I don't know if that's has any,
I'm gonna have to look at the stats and see if there's some kind of 93 ritual they got for the game. Because if so, that's what I'll be. It's usually, well, what's funny is it's usually 35 Thursday, and Saturnalia does equal 35. But if there's a 93 there too, that's the way I'll be rolling. So,
right. I just wanted to throw that in there and let you know. I didn't know if you, because I know you said you didn't look into it yet. So,
right on, right on. Well, thanks again, Michael, for always being here, and thanks for coming out to Buffalo. And
no problem, Zach.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Yep. You too.
Yeah, something that weirded me out. I had so many weird synchronicities on the New York trip, but I drove Michael back home. He lived in Rochester, and it's like an hour from Buffalo. As long as you don't make the wrong turns, like I did. I got on the man. New York has so many tolls on their freeway. I was so annoyed because there's this weird exit. It doesn't specify that you have to be in a certain lane when you take the ramp. And then if you're not in the right lane on the ramp, it'll send you the wrong direction. And that's what I did because I didn't know I'd never been on the exit before. But then they have like 2 tolls. As soon as you do that, boom, toll, boom, toll. And then you have to drive through both of them. And then if you made the wrong turn, which is not specified on the ramp, it doesn't say like be in this lane to go this direction or be in this lane to go this direction. It's not specified. So if you don't know the turn, it's easy to do. It seems like it's a purposeful trap. So then I had to take the exit after I went through the tolls and then drive back the right direction through 2 more tolls. So I just got 4 tolls that are expensive but I was just so annoyed, man. But anyway, then when I got back to Michael's house, then it turns out he lives with two people named Rachel and David, which blew my mind because growing up, one of my good buddies' name was David and his sister was Rachel. I was like, that's weird, man. Rachel and David. Reminds me of being a kid again. But anyway, shout out to Michael. We got to have a nice long car ride with some extra distance through some extra tolls. And no good deed will go unpunished. And the other thing that was tough about that is I had to be in New York City, which is like a 6.5-hour drive from Buffalo, and I was already running behind schedule. We ended up getting into like New York City at 6 a.m. No sleep till Brooklyn. What's up, Steve C?
Hey, how you doing, Zach?
How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. I've been killing it pretty good with parlays involving Buffalo since the beginning of the season. I just had a quick question as far as on the NFC side. I know that you had given out some information about like the Rams. It could be the Buccaneers, Tom Brady. It seems
Rams?
like they're further
I was
and
not a
further.
Rams person this year. I know
What's
somebody
that?
left the community. They got so mad that I didn't like their Rams pick.
I'm the one that gave you Seattle as my dark horse based on 19.
Okay.
It was, and the predictive programming with black quarterbacks. It was 9 years, 1 week from the Super Bowl date this year to when Russell Wilson was in the Super Bowl with Seattle.
Okay.
And it seems like 19 has been popping up a lot. I don't know if that's predictive programming or not.
Well,
Also,
Seattle and Saints games it picks up all the time because they're the 2-19 teams, just like the Falcons coach got his 19th loss against the Saints this week.
And I mentioned something in the chat, another 44 death. Some girl died of cancer from Mean Girls.
Okay.
I don't even know her. 32. Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, died of cancer. So, and Mean Girls
during Saturnalia too. Yeah.
Mean Girls equals 44, and of course, cancer equals 44.
That's how they do it. Yeah.
Anyone else out there wants to argue with you that it's fake? I'm anxious to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, congrats on the wins, and thanks for the Mean Girls tip, and keep it up. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Yeah, a lot of young people die from cancer in Hollywood. Pretty rare to die from cancer at a young age unless you work in Hollywood. So, yeah. Stephanie Bissonnette. It's amazing how many stories there are like this. Look at what day she died. She died on Saturnalia, a day associated with human ritual sacrifice. How about it? And you see, I mean, she's dead on December 17th. Kills got the gematria 44 and 17. Again, cancer's 44. So for the record, so is chemo. If the cancer doesn't kill you, the chemo will. And yeah, there's probably even more to it. Born October 26th. So that means she died 52 days after her birthday, 53rd day of her age. 52 days after her birthday is suspicious because that's the Pope's birthday, like we're on the 52-week calendar. Yeah, I doubt it was cancer that killed her. Unless it's that thing that the Venezuela leader told us about, Hugo Chavez, the cancer weapon. They're killing people with the cancer weapon. It's amazing how often there's a headline, too, about an actor dead after a short illness. I think I posted one about Twitter last night. Here, a musician was dead. Hold on. Yeah, there was another death. I posted about this last night. Clear Jesuit ritual, clear as day. It's amazing how many people from the world of celebrity are just dead by the numbers. I was sharing all script unveiled stuff, so it's down here. Terry Hall, died on December 18th, second day of Saturnalia. Look at this. If you write out Sun, it equals 18, right? Sunday was the 18th of December. If you write out the Jesuit acronym IHS, it's 18. And if you write out what it stands for, Isus Hominum Salvator, it's 274 in the most simple cipher. This guy died 274 days after his birthday on the 18th, a week before Christmas, which has been the day that the Roman Catholic Church has celebrated the sun in the sky's birthday since 274 AD. 274 AD. The Jesuits who served the Roman Catholic Church, their motto is Isus Hominum Salvator, which equals 274 forwards, 266 in reverse. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, the 266 pope. The motto is also 122, like Pope Francis is 122. And you see did you notice how their motto was also 85 like basketball? Remember, the NBA Finals was set on his 85th birthday. Boston versus Warriors was the game that day. Boston fell to 7-5 at home for the season. Warriors ended up winning the finals, becoming 7-5 against Boston, picking up their 75th all-time road win in the playoffs. They became 10-3 on the road, and then they won the finals with 103 points, like where we started, Jesuits 103. It was on the anniversary of the death of the Ultimate Warrior, 103, Warriors win. Who do you think got the Ultimate Warrior prematurely? Think it was those same Jesuits that killed by the same code over and over? But yeah, this stuff's going on all over. And then CNN shows a picture of him in Austin. Austin, what have I told you guys about Austin? Austin's the most Jesuit town in America. That's why they got the Jesuit puppet, Elon Musk there, the Jesuit stooge, Joe Rogan there. Austin and Jesuit are the exact same in every cipher. And then Austin, Texas is also 153, 144, 72, just like Jesuit order is. So they choose a picture of him in Austin. And you know what age he died at? 63. His band, this guy who's dead, his band is called The Specials, which has 63 gematria, 180, kind of like being dead on the 18th. 45. Remember, we were just about the IHS for Isus Hominum Salvator, another 45. Again, you guys, you learn this knowledge, you'll start seeing through it all. I can't keep up with all the stuff they do day after day. Not to mention they chose a picture of him dead from 9 years ago. Again, it's a sun ritual. The Jesuits are a sun-Saturn cult. And that's why Saturn equals 93, and they say the sun's 93 million miles away. But Sun 9, they choose a picture from 9 years ago, dead on the 18th. You see how Sun's 54 in the most simple cipher, just like Jesuit order, like where we began. The player drafted by the Packers in 54, dead on the 103rd day of the 103rd NFL season when his name's 103, like Jesuits. You know, as Rodgers is picking up the symbolic Saturn win, as you're watching his State Farm commercials. Isn't it funny how they have all these quarterbacks doing insurance commercials, and Tom Brady's dad's one of the richest insurance agents in the world, became a billionaire in the insurance industry. They don't talk about Tom Brady's dad too much, and they also don't have him doing insurance commercials. I'm surprised he doesn't do them for his dad's company. But yeah, insurance is just another one of their rackets, you guys. Insurance is another thing that, in my opinion, should not exist. Nobody should be required to get insurance. You know, if people lived and had righteous values, you know, they again that you should be able to choose to buy insurance, but you shouldn't be required to do it. Like I don't feel like I should have to buy insurance. I'm a very safe, good driver. I haven't been crashing into anybody in my lifetime. I've been driving super safe, and you know, I might buy insurance on my house in case an accident happens. I did have somebody crash through my house on Christmas Eve. Funny how many weird things happened to me after I started sharing this work. But yeah, I would not pay for insurance because I'm not worried about me doing anything wrong on the road. I drive like a saint. I might have insurance in case somebody else crashes into me. But again, I don't think any of us should be required to do these things. And I think the way I think it should be is like if you're somebody on the road and you drive crazy and you get in wrecks, I think there should be like a 2-strike policy. I personally think that if you have 2 accidents in your lifetime that are your fault, you should not be able to drive anymore. I think that should be the law of the land. You have 2 accidents that are your fault, you're not good enough to be a driver. Think about how many people have that and how they would not be allowed to drive. Solve a lot of problems. There'd be way less traffic, way less losers on the road. You wouldn't have to be worried about people crashing into you. Again, a lot of people cannot drive and they should not be on the road. So we're not free here, you guys. We're made to do all kinds of things. Pay taxes, pay for insurance. This shit's expensive. Look how much money these industries have because we're made to do these things. Should be on the honor system. And that's the thing, too. You have a good society. I mean, if you do wreck into somebody and it's your fault, you know what? You should just be like, my bad. Hey, let me settle that up. And those things can be done. If you think, here, I'll tell you a real story. I told this story in the past. Real story. I was in a Safeway parking lot. If you guys have Safeway where you are, it's a grocery store chain. And and there was to get out on the road, there's a stop sign, and there was a long line that night. It was around the holiday season. You know, people are doing their holiday shopping. And I was waiting in the long line. There's like 5 cars in front of me, and I see this huge SUV. I'm driving a little sedan at the time, and there's this huge SUV just flying up on me in the parking lot, and I'm bracing to get smashed in the parking lot. I'm thinking, God, I hope this car doesn't smash me in the car in front of me. And then it roasts the brakes, and it stops just in time before it hits me. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it didn't just hit me as fast as it was just coming up. And the next thing I know, it just drives into the back of me. And I was just like, what in the hell? You just stopped and didn't hit me, and now you drive into me. We're not even moving forward. We're still waiting at the stop sign. So I put the car in park, and I get out of the car, and I walk back, and I see it's a woman who's driving. And then I'm like, roll down your window. And I look at the back of the car, and I can see the back of the car's got a dent in it. And she rolls down her window, and it took her a while to roll down the window. And when she rolled down the window, I could see there were kids in the back of the seat, and I can smell alcohol all over right away. So I can tell she's drunk. I mean, think about it. A woman driving drunk with her little kids in the back. And I just said to her, so I'm like, do you think you should be driving right now? She's like, I'm fine. I was like, it doesn't look like it. I said, you just nearly crashed into me, and then you stopped. And then after you stopped, you drove into the back of me, and we're not even going anywhere. She's like, I'm fine. I was like, do you have insurance? And I made a point. I was like, I can tell you've been drinking. You reek like alcohol. I said, is there somebody who can drive you home? She's like, I'm fine. I just live down the street. I said, do you? I said, can I see your license? Like I was the cop. I was like, I just want to see where you live. She actually got out her license, and I looked, and I was like, well, she does live right down the street. She lives like a quarter mile from here. I said, I don't know if you can drive home. And I said, and he just put a big dent in the back of my car. And at the time, it was a used car that wasn't worth a lot to me anyway, so I wasn't super worried about the dent. But and then I felt bad. I didn't want to call the cops on her because she has her kids in the back seat. So I was like, how about this? If you really can drive home and you don't have somebody to call, I said, how about follow me? I took a picture of her ID, so I knew what her address was. I said, I'm going to drive to your house. And I lived in the neighborhood too, so I knew right where she lived. And I said, just follow me. And I said, we'll talk about the dent you put in the back. So when we get back to her house, and she lived on the darkest street too, she goes scurrying in the house with her kids, doesn't even talk to me. So I go up to the front door and ring the doorbell, and her husband comes out. Turns out she's married. And the husband's like, I'm sorry, man. I said, he goes, this isn't the first time she goes on these things. She's got a drinking problem. He said, honestly, she doesn't have her license is suspended right now. I said, oh, so that doesn't surprise me. I said, well, you want to come outside and see, the damage to the car? So he came out and he looked at the damage and he goes, how about go get some estimates and see what the cost is? And he said, we'll settle up. And he didn't live far from my house and I knew where they lived. And I did get 3 estimates and he only wanted to pay me for what the lowest estimate was, which one estimate was about $500 cheaper than the other. The other one was right in the middle. And him and I went and had coffee, and I ended up agreeing for him to pay for the lowest one. But I thought, this guy's kind of a cheapskate. I pretty much saved him a $10,000 ticket and his wife going to jail. And the lowest estimate was $800. So he ended up writing me a check for $800, and it was a good check. But these things can be done, is the point I'm making. Like, if people can just have communication and work things out and be fair, then we don't need to live in a world where we have insurance But I get it. I mean, we have a lot of criminals and people who would just drive away from the scene, and kind of like the wife. The wife was a bad human being, right? She scurries in the house, doesn't even want to deal with it. She's driving around drunk with her kids. She's a loser. And he knew his wife was a loser and didn't sound like he was too happy with her, but he took care of the problem. So again, this is why I'm just saying these things. And I'm also making the point about all these insurance companies that advertise nonstop. And yeah, we could live in a different world, you guys. We could live in a different world where people were decent and honest and helped each other out and owned up to their mistakes and, took care of when, their wife is drunk and crashed in the car. But at the same time, I also thought that guy could have paid for the higher end estimate, since, again, I did save him having to go pick up his wife at jail, because that's surely where she would have been. She would have been arrested. She was drunk as everything. And had she not lived so close to the store, she really did live like a quarter mile away. And I figured, hey, even though she's drunk and crashing in the back of me, she probably can make it back to her house if she just follows me. I just drove real slow and made sure she followed me. I told her exactly what to do. But yeah, again, the reason I did that is because she had 2 kids in the back seat. So, but yeah, some people are a mess, and she should not be on the road. And she wasn't supposed to be on the road. Suspended license, right? So some people, I've told that story before, and I remember in the past, people were like, you should have got her arrested. So it's like, what is it to see your mom get arrested, though? Like, that could be severely damaging. I don't know. To me, I was like, I don't know what exactly the right move is, but seemingly getting your mom getting arrested, and I mean, what then the kids? I guess the kids probably would have been taken home in the cop car. I don't know. Time will tell if I made the right decision, but anyhow, we'll leave it there for now, you guys, and yeah, I think I'm going to come back and do another live stream on the weirdest synchronicity of all. Well, God, I've just had so many weird synchronicities. Like, it's a real story, guys. Cooper Kupp's grandpa, who also played in the NFL, bought my house in Yakima, which is their hometown. I'm not from there. I just lived there the last 4 years while Sweet Lady was in school. But Cooper Kupp's grandpa literally bought the house 263 days after the Super Bowl ended. 263 is the 56th prime. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, but it is the way it worked out. I'm not going to do a video on that, but arguably that's also the weirdest synchronicity that's happened. But I think the one I'm about to share is even more strange. And all these things have happened in close proximity to each other. So anyway, I'll be back shortly to tell about a weird organic side of Gematria. And that video will only be on GematriaEffectNews 25. So if you guys aren't on that channel, make sure you're signed up. Again, I got GematriaEffectNews 25, 24, 23, and 22, and Gematria Effect Sports. And the reason I have all those channels now is because when I get a strike or two, I just shift over to another channel to keep them from deleting the channels, because the other 20-some channels have all been deleted by YouTube. So this is the new method to keep the channels up, juggling a bunch of channels. But GematriaEffectNews 25 is the most active channel right now. And I will be back over there shortly. So not right away, but maybe in an hour or so. All right, Truth Seeker. Till next time.